This demo is on the Illustrator typography tools. I'm going to tear these tools off. And I need my character palette, Command T. And my paragraph palette, Option, Command T. Okay, the type tools are the type tool, the area type tool, type on a path tool, vertical type tool, vertical area type tool, vertical type on a path tool, and the touch type tool. We'll start with the type tool. So with the type tool, if you just click once and start to type, that will give you one line of type called point type. If you click once and start to type, and then put a soft return, which is a shift return, you can continue to type a paragraph. You'll be doing shift returns, which is a soft return. Okay, you can make a text box that way. Or with the type tool, you can click and drag. Okay, and then start to type. Okay, now with Illustrator, if I want to modify this type, I can hit Command A, select all, or I can just have it selected with my selection tool and I can modify my type. Now this is our character palette, Command T. This is the fonts. You can pick them out of here. This is the point size. Right now it's 18 point. And let me reselect this. Okay. And then this is the leading to the right. The leading is the space between the lines. So I'm going to take the font back down to 12 point. And I'm going to increase the leading. Okay. If we were 12 on 18, that would be 6 points of type. Or I'm sorry, 6 points of leading. So we'll go ahead and take this back up to 18. Also on the character palette, we have kerning and tracking. And this is the space between the characters and the words. Okay, you can see how tight it's packing that. 0, and then you can open it up. You never want to go any tighter than -10 on your tracking because it just gets too tight and too hard to read. Okay, default is 0. We also have the vertical and horizontal scale. And I'm going to zoom in on this. And with we'll do the horizontal scale first. 100% is the same. If we want to condense this font, we can take it down to say 75. You can see how it's squeezing it. Okay, put that back on 100. If we want to stretch it the other way, we go into the vertical and we can stretch it like that. Okay, so that's your horizontal vertical scale. And you can use that to condense a font if you don't have a condensed type font. Also in there, we have the baseline shift. This will shift type above or below the baseline. If I highlight this and do a negative baseline shift, you can see how it's dropping it below. Positive baseline shift will put it above. You need to know baseline shift when we learn the type on a path quiz. Okay, so that is the type tool. Delete that. The next one is the area type tool. We can put type in any shape with this tool. I'm just going to draw a circle and do a black stroke. I'm going to take my font down to about 12 point. We'll go 12 on 18. And basically all I need to do with the area type tool is go to the tool and then click on the path with it, and it'll load it up for me. I'm going to paste some Greeking that I've already copied in here. Okay, Greeking just doesn't say anything. And you can see how it's filling this. Now, right now, if we look at our paragraph palette, this is flush right or flush left. It's called flush left, rag right. Okay, and that's why it's real good here, but over here it's doing this. That's the rag. So with this, to get it to be flush on both sides, we would put it on justified, and then it'll fill that out. Okay, so any shape you draw with the pen tool or anything, you can fill with this area type tool. Next tool is type on a path, and I'm just going to take my pen tool. I'm just going to draw a wavy line. Whoops. Back. And I'm going to swap the fill and stroke, so I just have a path. And there's my path. And I think I can do a better path than that. Let me try that again. There we go. So I'm going to get the type on a path tool, and I'm just going to click right on the path, and that will load my cursor. And just going to type. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and select it, and back to my character palette and put my vertical back on normal, and I'll increase this a little bit. Okay, now when you do type on a path, what you have is a left bracket, a right bracket, that's this way down here. I'm going to pull that up, and a center bracket. And we can move it on the path with that. We can also flip it on the path. So now it's upside down. Okay. Now with this left bracket and right bracket, you can pull this in till you see that little plus symbol. That means there's overflow type in there. So anytime you see that, you want to grab it. And you can see a little arrow pops up that tells you you're on the bracket, and then you can drag. Okay, and then you can move it with the center bracket. Okay, show you some type on a path options. I'm going to go type on a path options. And we can do the preview. And right now this is the default rainbow, the effect. I'm going to try skew. You can see what that's adding depth to it. 3D ribbon. Okay. Stair tip. And gravity. Okay. And the default is a rainbow. I'll go ahead and cancel that. Before that, you also have a line to your baseline. The baseline is an imaginary line that your type rests on. If I go to ascender, it'll drop it below the baseline. Descender will put it above the baseline. And we can center it on the baseline. Put that back to the baseline. Okay, so that is the fundamentals of type on a path. It's not the quiz. The quiz is a little more complicated, but first we have to understand how type on a path works. Okay. Next one, fourth one over, is the vertical type tool. So with that one, I'm just going to take that tool and just click and start to type. And you see what it does. It runs your type vertically. Now, it's not a good idea to do headlines this way because it's very hard to read. If you want to run a headline up and down, what you do is type it normally and then rotate that headline. But this tool will do that for you. Okay. Next one over is the vertical area type tool. So with that one, I'm going to make a rectangle. I'm going to put type inside this rectangle. Okay, and just give me a stroke. And the vertical area type tool. And I'll take my font down in size. And I'm just going to click right on the path and start to type. Okay, notice what it's doing. It's going from right to left, top to bottom. This can be used for foreign languages, maybe make crossword puzzles. I've never used it, but it's there. Okay, the next one is the vertical type on a path tool. So once again, I will draw a little wavy line. And I'm going to grab that vertical type on a path tool and click right on the path. Take my point size up a little and start typing. So you can see what it's doing. It's splitting it right through the center of the path. Just like before, you have your left bracket, center bracket, right bracket. Remember to move these brackets, you just wait till you see the little arrow and then you click. One thing I need to mention, do not click on these squares. If you click on the square, that is threading text and it will mess it up. If that happens, we just Command Z. So remember, do not do that. Always click on the line, wait till you see the little arrow, and then you're ready to move your brackets. You need to be able to move these brackets to do the type on a path quiz. Okay, so that was the vertical type on a path tool. Last one is the touch type tool. For that one, I'm going to make a text box and paste in my Greeking. And with this tool, I can actually move some of this type out of here and it will automatically put it in its own text box. So go to it here. And I can just move it out of there. Okay. That's a fairly new tool, the touch type tool. Okay, that is all of the type tools in Illustrator.